What's cooking, Bianconeri? Welcome back to the old lady's favorite YouTube channel. Today we've got a packed show for you, so let's just jump into it. What do we have for you today? On the recap, we've got Donnarumma regrets. Juventus is missing, deeply regretting not signing Donnarumma in the summer mercato. We got the summer mercato 2022 to talk about, from Pogba to Tchouameni, Icardi. All these names are popping back up. We'll summarize what we have for you right now for to be looking forward to for next year's mercato. And then you got Allegri and his AC Milan whatever match press conference. He had some choice words, some very interesting statements that I have thoughts on. Stick with us, we'll fill you in now. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back. You're in the Bianconeri zone. Today is Saturday, September 18th, 2021, and I have your latest rundown of all things Juventus, where I give you all the news that we have for you, all compiled into one video, but then I also give you my opinions that you don't give a bleep about. But let's just go ahead and jump into it. But before we do that, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new here. Our analytics show that most of the people that watch our videos actually aren't even subscribed to the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? If you haven't created a YouTube account or whatever have you, or Gmail, go ahead and do that now and make sure you hit that subscribe button. What are you doing? Come on. Anyway, let's just go ahead and jump into it. Here's what we have for the first bit of news for the day, and that is Donnarumma, and it's Fabrizio Romano, who's talking about Donnarumma saying, Mino Raiola to Rai Sport, I'm sorry for the way Donnarumma was treated by AC Milan. He made a life choice. I feel Juventus still have a great regret for not signing Gigio. And not only Juve, Keylor Navas, there's no doubt Donnarumma will be a PSG starter goalkeeper. And then there's a second part to that. And this is actually Mino Raiola in his comments also said, I'm sorry for the way Gigio was treated. He made a choice in life. There's no betrayal. He could have left 4 years ago, and he didn't. Has he been close to Juventus? I think Juventus still have a big regret for not taking him, and not just Juventus. So overall, a lot of the same feelings. And he's right. Mino Raiola is absolutely correct. Juventus really bleeped up not getting him last summer. Again, I understand there was high wages, but at that point, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you're not paying all the other fees that go along with it. You can pay for those wages, and look what you're stuck with. You're stuck with Wojciech Szczesny, who he's become crap. I don't know what else to say. He's just become crap. I was trying to think of a nice way to say it, but I can't. He's not very good. I gave him a better score last match, but he didn't do anything to really save the team. He had a couple stops there in the second half, but nothing serious. For the most part, he had some time off. So anyway, Donnarumma, big blunder. Is there ever a possibility that he might come in the future? We'll see. My hopes aren't high now, but you all let me know if you think that it will in the future. Then we move on. Tuttosport is talking about Icardi again, saying that the club remains in contact with the entourage of Icardi. His future at PSG next summer is not certain. So it's another name that's on the list. We talked about it a lot through the summer, that Icardi was an option and a target for Juventus. He could be a target again for next summer. We'll see if they end up bringing in the striker finally after all these years that they've been looking at him. And then Tuttosport also had an update saying that Juve's interest in Tchouameni is real. The club will try again next summer. Monaco valued the player at 40 million euros. So it just seems to really instill the idea that the summer mercado next year, Tchouameni will be one of those top targets that they'll go after. Locatelli was the same way, where you hear that build-up, you know about how long it goes on. We'll see if that one takes as long as Locatelli did to get done. If they do get him done, of course, there's plenty of times where these names pop up, but this one's really starting to build a lot of steam. Where there's been times in the past where this happens, and then the next thing I'm trying to think of a club. Atletico comes in and just swoops in and takes him before anything even happens. Then in the other interesting comments of the day was Mino Raiola commenting on Paul Pogba's situation, saying that Paul Pogba is out of contract in June. So we'll have a talk with Man United and see what happens. Juventus, Paul still loves Turin. There's a chance that Pogba will return to Juventus, but it also depends on Juventus's plans. Basically just teasing Juventus fans, teasing that out there to us. We're going to bite every single time you talk about Paul Pogba, about the chance to bring him back to Juventus. If Juventus did this and they righted this wrong when it comes to, having lost it wouldn't right this wrong with Donnarumma, but it would be one more guy who would help ease ease that a little bit for me if they were to go out there and get Paul Pogba next summer, bring him back. You have a midfield with him and Locatelli together. Moise Kean, if he can start taking off, I think a lot of Juventus fans will forget about some of the difficulties, the struggles, the unhappiness that they may have right now with the club. It's palpable. You can tell some of the frustrations that are out there. But if you go out there and you bring Paul Pogba back to Juventus, you reunite him with Dybala, you have him there with Locatelli, you've got all these guys out there, you got Federico Chiesa, the squad starts to pick up and really starts to develop something that we can really build toward for the future. Even when it comes to the Champions League, to be honest. So that's something, to me, it's get Paul Pogba done, get him back here. Because you imagine if Juve would have signed Donnarumma last summer, and you have Locatelli, and you bring Paul Pogba back next summer, that would have been something else. Anyway, the next topic of the day that we have is Matthias de Ligt, and this is more Mino Raiola talking about him. Some stuff that a lot of you guys are probably not going to like. I mean, you probably heard of it by now, but at the same time, you're probably not going to like it, so we can talk about it here. He said that de Ligt and Romagnoli are among the strongest defenders in Europe. I agree with de Ligt. Romagnoli's solid, but I just don't think he's the strongest in Europe. But he says, yes, I think they can play together next year at Juventus. But be careful, because de Ligt could also leave Juventus at the end of the season. That's how the market works. That's sure to ruffle a few feathers when it comes to Juventus fans. I've seen some, disparaging comments when it came to de Ligt overall and the different comments that went along with him. I think de Ligt's happy and entered in. I think he wants to stay. I think hopefully he will stay. But, I think there's also that whole the 150 million buyout clause or whatever he has is coming into effect or takes effect or runs out, whatever it is, within this time frame. So it's interesting that Mino Raiola is bringing this up right now, maybe trying to shop him out, maybe try to get himself a payday because of that. But anyway, that's his job. That's what he does. He's not as leaning pro Juventus or Juventus friendly that he is. It's not about Juventus. It's about his other people. And I think also maybe not getting the Donnarumma deal done, probably I wonder if that maybe affected Juventus' standing with Mino Raiola a little bit. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not reporting anything. But anyway, and then on the Romagnoli factor, we can go on and continue on with that one because actually Romagnoli, Nicolo Schira was reporting that Alessio Romagnoli will leave AC Milan as a free agent on the next summer. Juventus and Barca have asked info for the center back with his agent Mino Raiola. So again, just confirming that information that he could be coming to Juventus next summer. I wouldn't be against the player. I think he's a solid, defender, center back that they have, especially when you have certain guys that are aging themselves out. Anything's better. Anything's better than having more Rugani out there, back there. That's all I don't need is more Rugani. So bring me Romagnoli and I'll be happy. Romagnoli, I don't know if I said Romagnoli, like ramen noodles. Anyway, and then we have Romeo Agresti with his latest report saying, basically, not a lot here, nothing ground shaking, but just saying not only Dybala, Juventus are working on the renewal of Cuadrado and are aiming to reach a total agreement by October. So, and that's what seems to be the latest updates too, as well as it seems. I talk about the meeting for the meeting and then the next meeting, yada, 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 and all that joke that gets old. It's old with me at this point, just because I'm tired of saying it. But what I will say is that now it looks like they seem to have set a deadline or a hopeful deadline. A hopeful deadline that Dybala and that deal will get done before October. So by the end of the month, we can renew him, renew Cuadrado, and look to the future from there. We'll see if that happens. We'll keep you updated every step of the way. And then it's kind of fun, though, I'll be honest, actually talking about, some transfer news again. I don't know why. I was kind of surprised. You think usually that I'd be tired of the transfer market after this. But I think after all the negative stuff in the beginning of the season, it was kind of fun to talk about some transfer market. But now we have for you the Max Allegri press conference information. So let's go ahead and dive into that, what he said. There were some interesting tidbits. So if you're about to click off, don't click off. There's some stuff that you want to hear and that I want to talk about here. First off, Allegri says, Juventus Milan is always one of the most important games in the league, if not the most important one. I have 3 doubts in mind, one in defense, one in midfield, and one up front. I'll decide after the final training session. We will. Yeah, what was I doing? We will have to have a good performance. We are growing. We are working together, and we have to give continuity to win. To the win of Wednesday. So parts A and C, useless coach speak. That's all it was. Toss. I mean, not toss it out. It doesn't matter. We will work hard. Yeah. Give our all. Whatever. Leave it all on the field. Whatever generic coach speak you want to use. That's what that is. Milan's most important. Whatever. In the middle there, though, that is interesting to have the three doubts, one in defense, one midfield, one up front. So I'm wondering if it's either Bonucci or Chiellini, one of those guys. Maybe they need to rest, or if you're looking at possible injuries, you're looking at the Sciglio maybe trying to return. Are you going to use him? Wonder what may be going on there behind the scenes. Maybe the whole Ligt drama. Maybe about him, giving him his starting time to keep him happy, keep appeasing him, regardless if a coach like Allegri will act like they won't do it. Maybe you will. And then you say one in the midfield and one up front. So in the midfield, it could be anybody. It could be anybody. Bernardeschi, Ramsey, whatever have you, depending on who they want to work in and how they want to do. I guess also the up front one could be if it depends if Chiesa is being used as a winger or more as an attacker in that role. So I wonder about that. Personally, let me know your thoughts on what he's really, what he's, considering in those aspects. Let's move on. We have more to talk about. Allegri said that Chiesa is better on the right. In attack, he would need to play with a forward because he struggles as a center forward. Chiesa is growing. He can still grow in other areas of the pitch and in terms of game management. The desire with which he moves is one of his main assets. So definitely just talking up Chiesa about how good Chiesa is and definitely where he wants to utilize him. I think those are, regular comments I don't really have a lot to say about, to be honest. And then he says the team is doing well. Tomorrow we have to play a good technical game. Milan played a good game in Liverpool. Considering they were up against one of the strongest teams in Europe, they have a lot of personality. I would say that Liverpool, they're good, but they're not the same Liverpool of a couple years ago. And then he said tomorrow's game is more important for Milan than us. And that's the thing I want to talk about. That's not it, but that's part of it. My guy, Massimiliano, Allegri, whatever you want me to call you. What are we doing? What are we doing right here? You're going to tell me, you're going to try to sell me that Milan, this game is more important for Milan than it is for Juventus. Than it is for a Juventus that has 1 point. 1 point in 3 games. 1 point. 1 point in 3 games. And Milan, who's been chugging along, who's been doing fine, near the top of the table, if not the top. I need to check it. I know Roma's at the top, I'm pretty sure. Milan's right up there. You're going to try to sell me this bill of goods. That this is more important for Milan than it is for you. Get the hell out of here. That was a dumb comment. Why would you say that? Like, I just don't believe in this crap. There's more to go along with it. Let's keep it going. And then he said, that's the part, right? Okay, it's coming along. Trust me. We're going to come back to that. The first assessments will be made at the November break, and I think we will be in a different position then. Okay, yeah, THEN. Sorry. Typo. This is very balanced. This is a very balanced championship. I don't think there will be one team that will dominate it. Maybe, yeah, I think so. I think that's a fair factor. You see Roma and how well they're doing under Mourinho already. Again, Zaniolo, come on home, please. Just come home. Come home, Zaniolo. Come on. Anyway, so that's what we have for that. I think I agree with him, and hopefully that will stay that way. The problem is, my guy, is if you're not competitive somewhere in there, you're not even in the middle right now. You're near the bottom with 1 point. I said it right. 1 point. Did we get that across? One. Just one. One of these bad boys. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Was that the right one? Let me make sure. Okay, here it is. We had the group ready and complete very late on, and we still are getting to know each other. The results have been proportional to the performances. We could have had more points. I'm as fired up as always. Okay, well, maybe I need to hear this. Maybe I need to hear the actual audio instead of just the translation from it. It's hard when you're reading from a thing, but what I have from here does not show me that you're as fired up as always. Again, I'm just being overly critical in this moment. I'm sure you are fired up. I believe in Max Allegri. I like Max Allegri. I know there's a lot of Allegri out people already. I don't believe in that. I think Max Allegri will get it together, but I just don't like the coach speak in this instance, because the next one where he says Juventus does not need to play to win games but leagues. Well, that's fine, but you have to win this damn game to being competitive in the league, because if you do, you're probably putting yourself in too big of a hole to dig yourself out of. People may not like to hear that. Yeah, I guess technically that's not true. Technically, you could go out and lose this game, and then you could win from there on, and everybody else could lose every single match of importance, of significance, and they could drop points below you. Is that likely? Hell no, it's not. Hell no, it's not likely. So I understand. I understand how math works, guys. Trust me. Put that on a T-shirt. I understand how math works. Just that's going to be the Bianconeri Zone catchphrase from now on. I understand how math works. But overall, the reason that I'm so frustrated is because you're over here telling me that you do not play to win games, but leagues. Well, if you were doing that, you'd be winning the games that we should have won already. Empoli, Udinese, Napoli, whatever have you. You should have won those matches already. You didn't. And this is the hole that we're in. If you do this again and you come out flat and you lose another match, that hole may not be able to crawl out of that hole. This is my main frustration, whatever you want to call it. Is that enough? Is that enough ranting from me so far? All right. Then he says, at this moment, you have to hammer on the fact that to win championships, giving 100% may not be enough, and we don't play to win games. We play to win championships because the best teams on a long journey always win. And more coach speak. We're back at the coach speak. Glad he's able to get that back in there. Yeah, I understand. 100% may not be enough because you may not be good enough overall. That's fine. We play to win championships, yada, 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 yada. Nothing really of significance there. Let's just move on. Did I accidentally turn that one early? I did. And then he says you can't compare different teams over the years. This one has its own characteristics. It has to improve its technique, compactness, calmness, coach stuff. Yeah, okay. When De Ligt arrived at Juventus, he was described as a future Ballon d'Or winner. Calm down. There is a normal path for everyone. So basically just saying, take it easy. He will get there when he gets there. De Ligt is a talent. He can definitely come out and do some serious damage in the future for Juventus, be one of the top defenders that we have, and he already is, to be honest. But definitely, hopefully, that just means calm down, guys. He ain't going anywhere. He's staying here. He's going to be very good, and that's what I'm going to take it as, hopefully. And then finally, last comment that he had is one that's, okay, whatever. I'm happy with Rugani, who has presented himself as a reliable player this year. He's presented himself as a reliable player because he hasn't had to play. Actually, that's not true. He came in at the end of, what's it called? Actually, yeah, I guess that was really the only time I really saw him. And that's the only time I really should see him. Did he play early on? Okay, let me know, because maybe I'm blocking it out. Maybe I'm doing this myself so I can forget Rugani playing. Because if he did, and those are the matches that we lost, I'd be even more angry. But the only time I really remember him playing was in the end in garbage minutes against Malmo, which is when, honestly, that's the only time Rugani should be playing. But honestly, for me, not even then. To be honest. And then he said Bonucci will have to rest sooner or later. He's super reliable. Yes, he is. So anyway, I don't know what you want me to say about that. Yeah, he is super reliable. To me, again, I think the reason I've been harping on this, and this will be my last thought when it comes to Allegri and his comments. When it comes to Bonucci, I'm really big on thinking about doing just a cycling. Just a cycle when it comes to, and I understand maybe it doesn't work with coaches' schemes, whatever they want to work up, tactics. But overall, my kind of thing is I think Bonucci, De Ligt, and Chiellini, to make sure they're getting their fair share of play, is just to use them in a rotation. Like I literally said, De Ligt and Bonucci together. The next thing you know, you got Bonucci and Chiellini. Then the next thing you know, you got Chiellini and De Ligt. The next thing you know, you got De Ligt and Bonucci. You keep doing that, rotating in. They're playing with each other, and they're always getting their moment. One guy sits out, the other two play. Next thing you know, one guy sits out. It's all even. It's all fair. That's the way I look at it. It's one way I look at distributing it, because I feel like you don't lose a ton when you sub in one guy for the other. Bonucci is probably the weakest link in there, maybe. It depends, because Bonucci and Chiellini have such good chemistry, too. Anyway, That's all the news I have for you today. It was a long one. There was a lot we talked about. I appreciate you sticking with me. Hopefully you enjoyed, at least some of the comments, some of the stuff we had to talk about. Some of the news actually was a little bit more interesting today than we've had in a long time. So I appreciate it. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, join our community, hit that like button as well, and turn on that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. Make sure you follow Bianconerizone at Bianconerizone on Twitter and Instagram. Follow me at Justin Sofer on Twitter, and follow my boy Julian Genotti at Genotti151 on Twitter as well. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri.